Didn't know I was recording there. Hi, I'm MCM and this is my rather late video on my thoughts on the MCM Comic on Glasgow. My only thoughts on it are, it was fantastic. I had such a brilliant time. I do have to say an extra special thank you to Scottish Warrior 92 and Alex the Hunted for putting up with me, because I do talk quite a lot and at length about random things. So a big thank you to them. If you guys could go over there and just give the latest video a like or a subscribe or whatever, that would mean a lot to me, just as my way of saying thank you. So it was great. There was so much stuff there. There was Manga UK there was loads of different comic book stores, including one from my local area that I did not know about, which was completely brilliant because it means I now have somewhere to buy comics. There were just some guys from Preston there, like, hey, we're here at, we're here selling comics. I'm like, really? And I didn't know you guys existed. So now I have somewhere to get comics, which means I could probably start talking about comics more often on my channel, which is something I enjoy in my spare time. But I'm getting a little off topic. So yeah, Manga UK were there. There was a TARDIS there that you could have your photograph taken with. There was some things that they advertised that were missing, like the DeLorean from Back to the Future. That wasn't there, which was a little weird. And there were a few other things that were advertised that weren't there, but I completely couldn't. I'm sorry if you can hear that beeping, by the way. That is my fire alarm. For some reason it's just malfunctioning and it's deciding that there may or may not be a fire every 10 minutes and just beeps once. So yeah, there was some, it was down to the fact that they needed floor space, because there was just so many people there. Who would have guessed that, Glasgow had so many geeks? But no, it actually turned out there was a lot of people there who'd travelled from further down south from England. There was even one guy who I met on the way home, bizarrely enough, who was from Manchester. He'd attended his own Comic Con. He said, well, it was Glasgow's first MCM Comic Con, so he came up to support that, which is absolutely fantastic. Overall, I loved it. There was just so much to do. Everywhere you looked, there was something new. There was some great bargains on. I looked at so much stuff. Unfortunately, I just didn't have enough money to get everything I wanted, so next year I'm going to save up. I'm definitely going back to Glasgow next year, because the people there were just so welcoming, friendly. I was a little worried that I was going to get killed being an Englishman in Scotland, but no murders. I mean, come on, does anyone really know what they make haggis with? I'm sure it's just English guys who've strayed too far over the border. So yeah, there was just, it was such a nice place, and all the food was fantastic, and the place that I was staying at, it was outside Glasgow, which was unfortunate in a way, because it meant I had to travel to actually get into Glasgow city centre, but it was also out in the countryside, and it was just this beautiful little village. And I really enjoyed staying there, but next year I'm going to be staying in the city just to make things a little bit easier. I even overslept on the day of Comic Con and ended up coming in a little bit late, so I didn't really get a chance to look around as much as I would have liked when there was less people around, and I ended up being swamped quite a lot, and sometimes you were placed in an uncomfortable situation when you were just like pressed against a member of the opposite sex, because there was just that many people around, and you were like, yeah, it was even worse when they were in cosplay, and some of those cosplay outfits can be a little revealing, and you're just like pushed against them just because there's that many people there. So I just had to blush and avert my eyes, really, because I'm an older guy, and a lot of these guys were like, they were young adults, and it was just great just seeing geeks of all stripes, and there was the anime fans, there was your Star Wars fans, you were the comic fans, there were your geeky movie fans. There was some fantastic cosplayers there, and my piss poor attempt. I've now come to the conclusion that while I was there, I was never actually cosplaying John Constantine, who from the comics that I'm going to be showing you in a minute. But yeah, I was blonde Castiel. Now I may as well just admit it. I went as a blonde Castiel, even though Supernatural just ripped off Castiel's look and everything. That's just Constantine. But yeah, I'm going to show you what I got anyhow, because I did pick up some comics. because I can't really get them so readily in my area, although now I can. So I'm super excited about that. But I got a first print Justice League Dark, which I am super happy about. It has not left the wrapper. It is going to stay in there for all the time. So to show you guys the artwork a bit there. I mean, that's super nice. I really love that in there. And it was £6 for a first print. I'm going to be keeping that for the longest time. I mean, it's a Justice League comic. And I'm going to give this to my son a few years down the line and just say, keep that, because you never know. It might be worth something, or it might be worth nothing. But I also have this comic. You know, I bought this when it came out. Not this one, but I also do have this. A second copy, but this one is staying in the wrapper. So I picked up a first print, Justice League Dark, super happy about that. I am going to talk about the Justice League Dark, the original opening 6 issues, I believe, which is the opening 6 issues, which is the team coming together. So I'm going to do a video about talking about Justice League Dark. It is a bit of an underdog in the DC universe. You know, it's not got any of your big hitters in there like Superman, Batman. It's not got any of those guys. I mean, I think probably the most famous DC character in here is Zatanna, right there. I think she's probably the most famous of the entire team. Not many people know who John Constantine is. Not many people know who Deadman is, or Madame Xanadu, or that guy there whose name I can't remember, who was kind of lame. I've got to admit, when I was first introduced to him in this, I can't even remember his name off the top of my head, but he's got an M vest, which is like a meta vest, which is a magic vest, and I was just like, oh dude, I kind of really hate you, because you're not magical. You're, you know, the entire team is like magic based or supernatural based, and I was just like, your power comes from a vest, you know. That's kind of lame, but he really grew on me, and as I say, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but is it Adam? I don't think it's Adam. It may be, but yeah, he really grew on me, and he became one of my favourite characters actually in the original story arc. So I will talk about the original story arc eventually, but yeah. So I got issue 1, and because I only picked up issue 1 from my local comic book store, which is so local, it's about 10 miles away, although now I do have a closer one. I got up to date, well, not completely up to date, I didn't have that much money on me, but I bought Justice League Dark issue 2, and I'm just going to go through these pretty quick. Issue 3, issue 4, issue 5, issue 6, which I believe is the one where they're now all together and a team. It's actually a post-mortem. It's actually a post-mortem comic where it talks about the events of the previous ones and the team being together and why they need to be together. The threat is already dealt with, and I've never seen that in a comic before, where they've dealt with the threats, whatever it is, and you know, they're just talking about why they need to be a team and why they should be together, and it was just something new. I've never seen that really in a comic before, but it's New 52. It's all new territory, and I just really enjoyed it. I mean, just the date. This, I mean, it's like this. You know, that's the latest one I've got. It's got Operation Raccoon City on the back, which just shows how behind I am. But I do intend to get fully up to date with the Justice League Dark. Of course, I'm going to be looking at Trinity War as well, and the this summer's, or is it this winter's big event, the Forever Evil. I'm going to be looking into those as well, because I'm really interested in Forever Evil. I've already read the first comic, Forever Evil #1, and absolutely loved it. I just hope it can continue that pace. But anyway, I'm going to go to the next, Just the Dark issue 7 and issue 8. Now in these I am not that keen. The main reason is it's a crossover with iVampire. I have no intention of reading the iVampire comics ever, and I really do hate when... Yeah, the art style is different. I didn't like the art style in 7 and 8, and unfortunately. It might be to some people's taste, it's not to mine. I just hate that it's tied in with the comic. I have no intention of reading. There's characters who suddenly turn up and you have no idea who they are, and apparently they're integral to the story. I'll still get the next couple of comics just to complete the set, but I don't think I'll be reading that story arc. But I do intend to get caught up on Justice League Dark, because as much as I love John Constantine, and I wasn't really sure if he could work in a team, I'm loving it. It's fantastic. I really do like it. This next one actually got given to me at the train station by a guy who attended the convention. We just got talking, and I asked why he was in Scotland, and he just said, I went to the Comic Con, and we got talking. He bought something, and he bought it on a whim. He wasn't a fan, and I just said, I'll take it off your hands. And that is Superman Earth 1 Volume 1. Mwah! My God, this is how you start a Superman. Forget Man of Steel. If you've seen Man of Steel and thought it was great, go and pick this up. It is fantastic. I mean, I'm not a Superman guy. I really am not. It's a bit Boy Scout for me. But in this, it's fantastic. I mean, it does something that the original... I mean, there's even a nice word from the writer here, where it says, I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name, but it says, from as far back as I can remember, I would get a thrill of excitement every time I saw this symbol, the Superman symbol right there. And it says, if you experience the same thing, you've ever worn that symbol on a t-shirt, doodled it on the back of a notebook, or had it tattooed on your arm, if you understand what that symbol means, that all things are possible, then this book is dedicated to you. I just thought that is fantastic, because even I'm not a Superman guy, I do see that symbol and I understand what it means. And it's a Superman origin story. And literally, it's like, first page, right there, you get just a little bit of story, I'll show you, and then on the next page there is a fantastic, I'm not going to point it out, but there's a fantastic reference to the original Superman movies. So even though it's in print, you do hear in your head that original theme tune, and I was just like, dude, Man of Steel never did that. This does it. This pays homage. That's how you do it. You put the fucking theme tune in. I'm sorry, I'm really upset that they didn't put the theme tune in the new one. And it's fantastic. It's literally an origin story, and it doesn't waste time, you know, going through the origins. There's a couple of pages that deal with it, but it deals with this childhood. It deals with him coming to the realization. I mean, look. They obviously read this for the movie. That's what Superman, a young Superman who looks like that. You know, he's not wearing his uniform yet through most of this. He wears it towards the end. But that's what he's dealing with. An alien fucking invasion. I mean, so obviously Zack Snyder read this and thought, you know what? I'm going to convert it. And convert it poorly. In my opinion, this is just better. It is so much better. I watched Man of Steel and I loved it. And as I was reading this, I was just, this is fantastic. I mean, it really is, and I just got it given to me. You know, well, I did say I gave him some money for it, because he was like, I'm not really, you know, I've read it, I'm not a Superman guy. He was the nicest guy as well, he really was. We just chatted while waiting for our trains. I mean, there's some things in here that might be a bit lore breaking, I'm unfamiliar. I mean, that's the bad guy right there. You know, and he's like, I destroyed Krypton, kind of. Well, my people did. I don't know how true that is to the lore. I don't even know what that guy's is. And the Superman outfit as well. The S doesn't stand for hope. It stands for son, as in the son of Martha and Clark Kent, and the last son of Krypton. So it's a bit different. It doesn't mean hope, but it's fantastic. And I intend to get volume 2, because I looked it up. There's a volume 2, so I will be getting that, and who knows, I might do a video about those two, because Earth 1 is really fantastic. I loved it so much. So Comic-Con, I'm going back next year. And I will be getting early access again. It's on for 2 days next year, and I'll be getting early access for both days. It was just so good. As I said, it was so good to see people just getting together, like-minded, you know, being geeks and being proud and just embracing all the things that they like. There were so many people in cosplay, and it was just so good to see. It really was, especially since down here, I'm a little bit isolated, there's not many geeky things. I mean, there's like people that who like video games, but video games are kind of accepted now as, being not that geeky. But if you try to get a comic book here, it's just like, if you're even seen like reading a comic book outside, you're looked at like, come on, how old are you? I mean, that's for children. They're not for children anymore. I mean, in Justice League Dark, I mean, that's not one of the best ones, but in Justice League Dark, there's swearing. It's like, there's drinking, there's violence. It's not for kids anymore. This is, something that is embraced across all ages. My own son is a huge Superman, Batman, Spider-Man fan, and I intend to, encourage that. It's nice to see younger generations always embracing the things that we grew up with and we enjoy. So seeing the age range as well at Comic-Con was just, it was so great to see. There was your guys who were older than me there. I'm not, revealing how old I am, but there were guys older than me there, and there was the young kids as well. Some of these guys even had their own kids there with them, and it was just like, their kids were dressed up as Batman, and they were picking up comic books too, and it was just so nice to see. So once again, a huge thank you to Scottish Warrior 92 and Alex the Hunted for putting up with me, and I think I've said everything I need to say. So I've been N7 Strider, and I should go.